Today, we're looking at the French sci-fi action movie Lucy, which was written and directed by Luc Besson, the man who gave us The Fifth Element. The movie stars Scarlett Johansson as the main character of Lucy Miller, and Morgan Freeman as a scientist named Samuel Norman. If you like movies that are a bit Matrix meets Limitless, but have a kind of almost superhero type element to them, I think you'll really like this movie. It's a solid action adventure, nothing amazing, but just a fun action romp. It was released in 2014, and it actually did very well at the box office. For starters, the film had a modest budget of only $40 million, but it looks like a much bigger budget movie than that. And it went on to make $469 million at the box office, which is a huge financial success. So much so that there was talk of a sequel, but it never materialized. The film opens with a kind of 2001 A Space Odyssey scene. Lucy narrates the origin of life on Earth. An early hominid drinks water from a lake, and then it flashes forward to show how humans have built advanced civilization. In Taiwan, Lucy is asked by the guy she's dating, Richard, to deliver a briefcase with paperwork to a guy called Mr. Zhang. Long story short, they have an argument, she refuses, and so he handcuffs her to the briefcase, which forces her to go along with the transaction. Mr. Zhang is a dodgy character, to say the least, some kind of crime boss. While waiting for his goons to show up and take the briefcase, Lucy watches in horror as Richard is shot dead in cold blood, and in broad daylight. She's then forced up to Zhang's apartment by the goons. What's interesting is that the scene has an added tension by cutting back and forth to shots of a leopard hunting its prey on an open plain. It certainly is a unique visual motif. Zhang meets a deeply distressed Lucy and forces her to open the case. Inside there are packages of some kind of blue crystalline substance or powder. He proceeds to offer her a job. A voiceover narration of Morgan Freeman explains the origin of intelligent life on Earth, the development of the human brain. Now, one of the issues with this movie is that the basis of the plot is centered around the myth that we only use 10% of our brains. And basically, Lucy takes a drug that makes her use 100% of her brain. But in truth, we use all the areas of our brain, we just don't use all of them all at the same time. We only use the portions of our brain that we need given the task or activity we're doing in that particular moment. But this was at a time when science, and indeed science fiction, used to believe that we only use 10% of our brains, and if we could just find some technological, fantastical way of unlocking 100% of our brain's potential, we can become basically superhuman. So that's one area of the film that you kind of have to squint past a little bit. Now, Lucy awakens to find that they've done surgery on her. They've basically opened up her stomach and they've placed drugs underneath in her stomach and then stitched her back up. And she's supposed to operate basically as a drug mule. The drug is called CPH4. Herself and several other people are forced to smuggle the drug internationally. Things really kick off when she's attacked and the bag bursts in her stomach, releasing the substance and giving her superhuman abilities. Telekinesis, new physical and mental abilities, among other things. And this is how she escapes. She changes in personality also, becoming more withdrawn, fairly emotionless, and more aware of her surroundings. Without even really thinking or trying, she escapes from her cell, kills her captors with ease. She has total focus, heightened senses, extreme confidence, and a massive appetite. En route to the hospital, she finds that she has incredible powers of hearing also, and she doesn't feel pain. At gunpoint, she forces some doctors to perform surgery to remove the bag inside her stomach. Without painkillers. She calls her mother and her humanity begins to kind of show through once again. She tells her that she can feel everything. Space, the air, the vibrations, the people, gravity, the rotation of the earth, heat leaving her body, the blood in her veins and her brain, everything, and she can remember everything with exquisite detail. The doctor tells her that CPH4 is something that pregnant women make in tiny quantities in the 6th week of pregnancy. For a baby, it packs the power of an atomic bomb. It gives the fetus all the energy it needs to form all the bones in its body. But what she has here is a synthetic form of CPH4 in enormous quantities. So Lucy goes back to Jang, kills all his henchmen, and then faces him down. She's able to scan his mind to locate the other drug mules. I have to say at this point, the music is very good, but it's also quite similar in some places to The Fifth Element, which shouldn't be surprising, given that Eric Serra composed the music to both movies. She tracks down Samuel Norman and hacks his TV, speaking to him in his hotel room. She tells him that her cells are reproducing at a phenomenal speed. She believes she'll be dead in 24 hours. She's now using 28% of her cerebral capacity and increasing, but soon it'll be 100%. She will soon have no more obstacles. She helps authorities to locate the other carriers of the drug. While on a plane, she drinks some alcohol and briefly loses physical cohesion. Her cells start to break down. Yeah, that's another reason I quit drinking. But she manages to stabilize the situation by taking more of the drug. There's a great moment in another hospital where she incapacitates everyone but the main policeman, and then later has a fantastic standoff with Jang's men, using her telekinesis powers, fighting them without even touching them. And there's a brilliant car chase scene that looks like something from a much bigger budget movie. Extremely impressive. Lucy meets with a team of scientists and Norman, and she explains that time is the key to existence. It's the only thing that gives proof to the existence of matter. She takes huge doses of the drug in order to achieve 100% brain capacity, all while Jang is coming for her, which, when you think about it, is actually kind of silly considering how powerful she is, and he must know that at this point. Given what's happened to his henchmen. I mean, did they not tell him? What exactly is he planning to do to overcome her? How could he possibly defeat her? And why would he still be trying? I mean, for God's sake, just run and hide. She's just way too powerful, man. So she becomes incorporeal. Her body develops tentacles, and she connects to computer systems, and she can whiz back and forth throughout time and space, no longer bound by linear reality and time. She's now not really human anymore. She's evolved into something beyond. The film ends on a rather abrupt note, that's one thing I will say, but the end sequences are really quite beautifully realized visually, with excellent visual effects, especially given that, like I say, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, this film has a very modest budget, and there are many films these days with budgets in excess of $100 million, $200 million, even $300 million, and you wonder to yourself sometimes, where did all that money go? But in this film, I'm wondering, how did they make this for so little money by comparison? It just looks so good. So credit to the filmmakers, credit to Luc Besson. By today's standards, Lucy is a relatively short feature film at just 90 minutes. 90-minute movies were much more common in the 1970s and 80s. But as a result, the film is paced very well. It is quite graphically violent, mostly the first half of the movie. The second half becomes a full-on action sci-fi movie. It's really well directed. Scarlett Johansson is superb. It's an enjoyable movie. Incidentally, my dad really likes this movie, and whenever he sees Scarlett Johansson in anything else, he always asks me, "Is that Lucy?" And I say, "Yes, Dad, that's Lucy." Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on Lucy in the comments below. What do you think of this movie? Please hit that like button, subscribe for more, share this video. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.